Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. Twice a day, 7 days a week, I share my experience as a full-time crypto trader. My goal is to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Everything I do for you is free. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently trading at 35,158, up 2.72%. Ethereum is currently trading at 2148, up 7.55%. We notice USDC, USDT, and BUSD are red. That means that money is flowing from stable coins into the market. We notice that DAI is green. That means the reverse. I'd like to take you through the stable coin supply ratio or oscillator, SSR. Now you say, what is the SSR? Glad you asked. Here's the answer. It's really a mathematical equation. The market cap of Bitcoin divided by the market cap of all stable coins. Imagine if the market cap of Bitcoin was 1 and the market cap of all stable coins was 1. The SSR would be 1. Now imagine if the market cap of Bitcoin went to 2 and the market cap of stable coins stayed at 1. This SSR would be 2. Now what does it mean? Let's go back and have a look. We can see here that this is the SSR line, this one in orange. When it goes down, what is happening? What is happening is that fraction, the market cap of the stable coins, is increasing relative to Bitcoin. So it's going down and down and down because the stable coins balances are going up. Now what happens when it's going up? It means that the stable coins are being transferred into Bitcoin. You notice the price of Bitcoin here. Maybe it's easier to see from the last particular part. You see where my mouse is up here. That's the recent price action of Bitcoin. We notice something incredibly interesting. As the interest in Bitcoin started to peak, there was so much value locked in Bitcoin relative to the stable coins. Then around this January 21st mark, or January 21, sorry, January, we saw the stable coins getting funded back. Now we see their values starting to decrease relative to Bitcoin. This appears as though we've hit a bottom in the market. Really fascinating stuff, and we'll cover this every episode. I'd like to say welcome and thank you to our new members of our beautiful community. I do my best to get back to everyone, but often I can't, but I do read all your comments. I always try to give a like and a heart and a thumbs up, and if I don't get to you, it's because I've just not seen your message. But thank you very much. I appreciate everyone popping on board. I did a very nice interview with Jordan Lindsay from Conquer Trading and Markets, CTM, and probably many of our original community has been interested in what CTM is. That's Jordan's group. I had a chat with Jordan where I explained why I do what I do. Basically, it's very simple, and China has probably summed it up better than I ever could. He said, too many people are being misled by other so-called experts in the space, costing them and their loved ones valuable money, which in turn scares them out of the market, and then that takes away their chance to try and gain generational life-changing wealth and stability. Thank you very much, China. It's a very nice thing to say. The reason I started this channel, I get fueled whenever I see other YouTubers with clickbait thumbnails, Bybit links, 20 ads, their whole face covering the screen. I don't like it, and I especially don't like people losing everything. I saw it, I heard it on Twitter. It just motivated me to do something about it. So I saw people losing everything on the hype. I couldn't stand it. So I started to make these videos to help people. And I really want you to be a financial blessing to yourself and others as well. That makes the world a better place. I never expected what happened. I didn't expect our little community to grow. I didn't expect to meet so many incredible people. I just am blown away from day to day at how fantastic our community is. Thank you. Let's turn to the news. I'd like to raise two things on this news page. Bitcoin and Ethereum rise as regulatory action is seen as a sign or a signal of the market maturing. Do you know what happens when Bitcoin and Ethereum will fall? And it will happen. We know price moves in a wave. Regulatory action will be blamed as the reason. I always laugh when I watch these news headlines because they use the same keyword to explain it going up and going down. Anyway, just keep your eye on that. The news often misleads. This is a particularly important thing that I wanted to point out. A lot of people have come to me on the private messaging in Twitter and reached out and said, I'm really worried about a correction. So let's fact check the news. We always used to fact check the news. So this is sort of a recall of what we used to do. So let's have a look at the Nasdaq 100. The Nasdaq 100 has made another high, and is currently at another high. That doesn't signify that the markets are going to crash. Now what we know, waves are always appearing in price data. We know we've got a wave up. We know we're going to have a wave down. We've got a very good degree of support under there. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. Same thing again. High, higher high, higher high. Healthy price action. We have up channel of support. We would expect that to be maintained. One thing is we don't fear. We're not those people. We leave fear for other people. We don't do that. Let's have a look at the Dow Jones. Okay, it's waving up and down, up and down. It's come down a bit, yes. There's a bit of weakness in this particular rally, but the rain needs to wash away certain things. We've seen that all the time. We are not concerned. The triple Q, which is a really important vehicle. We can see waves, higher high, higher high, higher high, good support. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. It's fine. I don't know why people say this. I guess it sells newspapers. Previously, I'd introduced Rule 666, which is markets humble. Markets humble means that they really do humble. You can lose a lot of money on the markets if you don't think correctly. And it's really all about how you think. That's why I spend quite a bit of time on it. Rule 333 is the opposite of Rule 666. And those who like numerology would realize that 333 and 666 and 777 are all numerological numbers. As a numbers guy, I love numbers. So it's probably not surprising that this is Rule 333. 333 is never act on fear. Now, what does that mean? It means as human beings, we are programmed to fear. There's nothing wrong with feeling fear. That's normal, that's natural. The problem is, if you act on the fear, what happens? You create the very thing that you fear. Think about it like this. When you're in the market and you fear missing out, you pop in just at the peak, so you buy at the top. And then you hold it and hold it and hold it when it goes down, hoping it will come back up, and you say, oh my goodness, I've got so much fear, so much uncertainty, so much doubt, I'll sell. And you sell at the bottom. This is the process of fear and how it plays out in the market. It is disastrous if it's not controlled. We gave this Peter Lynch quote a couple of episodes ago, but I really, really love it because it's so true. Far more money has been lost by investors and traders preparing for corrections or trying to anticipate corrections than has ever been lost in corrections themselves. When you read news stories like, oh, there's going to be a crash, and you take that news story and you say, wow, they have my best interests at heart. All those advertisers and all those people who are profiting from this news story, they really care about me. I'm going to act on this. And then you sell. Guess what? The market doesn't crash. From a personal level, this is a really beautiful quote too. The most destructive element in the human mind is fear. Fear creates aggressiveness, which creates hostility, which engenders fear, and as a disastrous circle, it all feeds on itself. Even this one is beautiful. Fear creates its own self-fulfilling dynamic. As people give into it, they lose energy and momentum. Their confidence, their lack of confidence, translates into inaction that lowers confidence levels even further, and so on. Really, that particular rule, 333, is one that you can take through your life. If you feel the fear and put it in the corner and just say, I don't care. That's exactly what I do with fear. I say, I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, it's fearful, but I don't care. Never act on fear. It's a really, really good rule. And it's a beautiful one to teach your kids, your loved ones, to share with your loved ones, to share with your children. I'd like to quickly call out some selected comments. Glennis was on fire today on Twitter. She had so many excellent things. Thank you, Glennis. Glennis was talking about the fact that there's a huge lack of high-yield long-term investments, which is correct. If you think about normal people walking into a bank, where's the investment yield? You give the money into a fixed-term deposit, you're lucky to get 1%. It's horrible. Of course, the answer is Bitcoin. Muhammad asked about the view on central bank digital currencies and how that could impact crypto. You know what, Muhammad? I think it'd be really good. What we have is the stable coins, Tether, Binance USD, USDC, DAI. We have those. I think they could have, CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, could affect those stable coins. But what we're going to see is the CBDCs actually translating in pairs to all our cryptocurrencies. It will just be normal. Yang said a very cool thing, which I really, really love. He said, KSM was a good call. He's been following since episode 72. Thank you, Yang. That's really nice. At the time, I kept telling people to keep an eye on KSM. And what's so cool is that Yang made a 30% gain from that. I'm so happy for you, Yang. I think that's just fantastic. Well done. Rule 171, zoom out. This is a really cool analytic that Maxim recommended to me on Twitter. It's beautiful. The Bitcoin search term. If we look at how Bitcoin search terms are tracking in Google, we see an uptick here. This is really good contextual information. When we get into the mania, Bitcoin search terms will be everywhere. We'll keep an eye on this. Thank you, Maxim. When we zoom out, we use the KS model, which is a Bitcoin technical trading model based on institutional price psychology. A couple of people in the community asked, what are these blue and red and white dots? What the heck are they? They're actually to represent a sun. So this is the blue sun in 2012. It lasted this period of time. If we put that period of time from the halving to there, we saw that big sell-off. This is the green sun in the 2016 halving. That's the peak of that particular bull run. If we put that green one up there, that's where many people think this bull run will finish. The only problem, there's a gap between this blue sun and that green sun. That gap, when applied to this current market, creates this white sun up here, and that's where I believe the bull run will finish in this current cycle around the 25th of May 2022. The most important thing that we see here, we're in the psychological sunshine. The institutions are collecting and amassing lots and lots of Bitcoin. Now, exactly how much Bitcoin do they have? Thank you again to you, Glennis. You're certainly on fire today. This was a phenomenal link that Glennis sent to me. It's beautiful. It's exactly what we needed. These are Bitcoin treasuries. If you go to bitcointreasuries.org, you will see this page. We can see that there's about $50.5 billion, or 6.9% of the supply of Bitcoin, total supply of Bitcoin, in these hands. ETFs, countries, public companies, private companies. We're going to keep our eye on this figure, and especially this total figure here. Very, very fascinating. Public companies that own Bitcoin, you can go and have a look at it at your leisure. Countries and governments that own, very interesting, isn't it? Private companies and ETFs. Just fantastic. Thank you, Glennis. That's really excellent. Let's follow rule 172. We've zoomed out, now we're going to zoom in. Let's have a look at Bitcoin's technical analysis. In episode 90, we were viewing Bitcoin at 34,611. Bitcoin is now 35,287. We notice this upward channel of support here. You notice how that those lines, that price action doesn't touch this line. That is what I look for, because that is a sign of strength. You notice here this upward resistance now turned just into support. This is forming a cradle here, and the price is above the psychological $35,000 mark. We never concern ourselves with chasing anything. It's like, if you want a good relationship, don't chase it, but be good. If you want anything in life, just let it come to you. What is. What isn't, won't be. And what isn't, is not important, ever. Here we see the price is trading above that $35,000 mark, heading to 36,171. Awesome stuff. We know we never FOMO. We're always buying at support, even down to take advantage of any spikes that may occur. Spikes don't force us out. Like even back here, for the people that have been watching since these episodes earlier, we saw this and I said it's nothing more than a technical violation. There will be a shakeout move and it will come back. And that's exactly what it did. You want to always prepare yourself for these. They're fantastic buying opportunities. Bitcoin has done really well. The support below is 35,000. There is structural support at around the 34,267 mark. A lot of people have asked if I would help them with just taking a coin or a couple of coins and actually drawing everything from scratch. I'll make that the next video. That's really cool stuff. Well, maybe not the next video because it's getting late here. Maybe the one after the first update that will happen in about 12 hours. But I think that needs to be the next video. I'm always listening. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. That's the whole purpose of what I do. We can see price going up to the 3617 mark, and then above that, there will be resistance at the 37,230 mark. Let's have a quick look at the shorts and the longs. We can see the shorts are getting liquidated. They're pushing down, and the longs are increasing. We can see that by how we draw this kind of like horizontal support, and it explains the price action. Let's have a look a bit deeper. The 24-hour liquidations are incredibly low at 222.81 million. We have 51,722 traders liquidated. Over the past hour, about over 86% of liquidations were short, and that's turning up in a lot of liquidations here. This is another really cool indicator for us to keep track of. It's the Bitcoin net realized profit and loss. At the moment, you can see this red spike down. It means that people are losing. When people are losing, we generally hammer in a bottom or a near bottom. This is really positive for the whole crypto space right now. Just to further add to our stablecoin discussion, we can see that the Tether balance, Tether USD balance on all exchanges is increasing. That is firepower to buy crypto. Let's just have a look how that plays out on psychological safety and liquidations. When a massive inflow of Tether occurred in the past, that sparked a rally. We've got this happening here, and we can see the beginning points of the rally. I got a really good question in the comments. Ken, why do you use a 15-minute time frame to understand what's happening in Bitcoin? Everybody else uses like a 1 day, 8 hours, etc. That actually has the answer to your question. As a trader, if I do what everybody else does, I don't have an edge. I love to see into the engine of the crypto market. I'm kind of like a mechanic. I want to get in there and just absolutely figure out what's happening and have a deep knowledge of what will happen next. As part of our little trading diary together, we always note the top 7 and the percents over 24 hours and 7 days. The top 7, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, Binance Coin, Cardano, DOGE, and XRP. Let's have a look at the top gainers over the past 24 hours. Ethereum Classic, Compound, BTG, EGLD, BSV, SHIB, and Aave. Let's go the other way. Greatest losses over the past 24 hours. Celo, Quant, AMP, USDC. These are basically stable coins, so we don't need to worry about those. Let's turn the other way. Greatest 7-day percent gainers. Do you notice how these percent gainers stay there? It's really fascinating. Just keep your eye on this. It will really help you in the long term. So greatest gainers over the past 7 days: Celo, SHIB, Comp, Quant, Bitcoin Gold, Solana, XDC. Let's go the other way. Greatest losses over the past 7 days: Rev, AMP, NEAR, and stable coins. These are all stable coins, so we don't need to worry about them. Let's have a look at crypto total market cap. The current market cap is coming in at $1.431 trillion. It's doing well. And we know as Bitcoin improves and repairs itself, this is exactly what's going to happen, because everything moves at the moment with Bitcoin's fingerprint. It's really important to understand that. We can see that these altcoins are behaving very powerfully. If we look at this sort of support that's running up here, we see that there's a big gap between the support line and the line of actual support that's under there. That is a very healthy sign. The alts are kicking in, as we knew they would. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum, currently trading at 2167, has done incredibly well. One thing that I always talk about is catch the falling knife. If you know that you're in a bull market, if you know that things are sensible and it's nearing a bottom, and we kind of know that because we look at all the data and everything supports the probability that we're going higher. There can always be short-term volatility, but we don't have fear about those things. We trust the numbers more than we trust up and down gyrations in the market. We know price moves in waves. You can see this support line running along there. Look at how much fresh air is above that. That is strength. The reason I don't change the support lines around, I want to take you always on a journey to understand what the gaps mean. Gaps are really important in investing and trading. Currently, Ethereum is literally at the next resistance line, seeking to turn that into support. It has a support below it at 2100 and below that at 2020. It has resistance above at 2304 and resistance above at 2387. If you are interested in getting into Ethereum, what you would seek to do is to buy at support. You don't chase it. Just like if you're dating, you don't chase the other person. You let the other person just develop things naturally. That's the most important thing. In between, you can layer your buy orders, if you wish, as a percent of your trade. This is called layer buying. It's a very incredibly profitable tool, and it's built on the concept the price is always moving in a wave. Maybe we come down and touch this line at some stage. If that's the case, you've slurped up all of that profitable trading position, and then it will just move up. It's really the best way to trade into anything. Layer buying is one of my rules that I introduced very early on. I'll actually bring that back and explain that in more detail for you. Let's move across to Binance Coin. BNB is currently trading at 303.86. Structural support below at 291.52 and good support below at 278.17. It has resistance above at 309, at 318 and 327, but it looks really good. It's maintaining the structure of this support line, but you can see it doesn't have much of a gap in it, not like Ethereum and not like total crypto market cap. It's really good to bear these things in mind when you're looking at different coins to put money into. Of course, Binance Coin is also coming up to a level of structural resistance at 358. That will tend to suppress price as well. Let's have a look at Cardano, ADA. ADA is currently trading at 137, 138. It has support below at 133.43 and support below that at 128.48. Resistance immediately above at 140, and the next real level of resistance is 150. You might notice how I've drawn this particular line from that low up to here, touching, but I haven't moved it. Now the reason for that is that's what I call a tight line. And remember, as a technical analyst and as a chartist, you are an artist. Ooh, that even rhymes. What you do, you need to be consistent. However you draw your line is perfectly fine. You think about what the story is that you're trying to say. In this story, we're trying to say this point was determined here. So we drew from the bottom over to this bottom, and now we're seeing weakness. Tight trend lines or tight support lines can be excellent to determine any immediate strength or weakness. You only have to look back to Ethereum to see what strength looks like. Let's have a look at Dogecoin. Doge is currently trading at 26,251. It has support below at 25,735 and 24,892. It is playing with its structural resistance at the moment. We know that anytime structural resistance is in play, that's why it's really important to put in and understand what type of what type of resistance it is. Price will come up, tend to hit the structural resistance, try to regroup, try to attack, try to regroup, try to attack, try to regroup, until it gets past. Now, typically when it gets past, it can blow. It can blow up like a volcano because there's enormous selling at that line. When it gets past that line, the sellers have basically given up, which creates free air. In this case, if Doge manages to get above this line, and we know that all alts follow Bitcoin's fingerprint, we can be looking at the next target at this peak of 29,138 as the next reasonable resistance. Also, there's fairly light resistance through this area I would suggest the next real resistance is 32,535. Doge could do really well. Let's have a look at XRP. XRP is currently trading at 68.17, pretty much at the support line for that price. It has support below at 65.60 and then structural support at 63.17, psychological support at 60 cents, and structural below it at 56.94. The really important thing to note here is XRP is coming up to structural resistance. Remember back to Doge. What happened there? Doge came up and hit the structure and reversed. Came up, hit it, and reversed. If Bitcoin really rallies, we will witness Bitcoin's fingerprint playing out on all alts. That's also something to bear in mind. But this particular level of resistance at 71.49 is quite important. We can see that the crypto market is really repairing itself at the present time. We would expect that Bitcoin could do quite well over the coming days. Let's have a look at Polkadot. Polkadot came through this resistance and is currently trading at 16,475. It's doing really well. It's above the $16 psychological support and above 15,357, which is a lower level of support. It has really light support through these levels. It has really light resistance through these levels. So 17,279, 18,321, and 19,569 are light resistances. I would suggest that the real resistance is up here at about 19,569. We can see all the way up here at about 23,579. Structural resistance is coming into play with DOT. Just keep that one in mind. But DOT is looking quite good. And if we were to extend this line out here, which is a tight trend line, we can see just how much air is above that structure. That's what we want to see. I think this is a very interesting one. It's really helpful to remember Rule 93. Bitcoin's fingerprint impacts every alt. That is really putting money in your bank account. Let's look at Solana. Solana is currently trading at 34,344. It's above support at 32,464 and 31,604. The next level of real resistance is 35,274. Then I believe the next real major level of resistance is at 39,576. One reason that we do so many alts together is it gives you an incredible view of the market. You can look across and say, I know what all the top coins are doing. I know their structure. I know how Bitcoin's fingerprint is playing out. I know that they're getting above the line or on the line or below the line. For example, if we just draw this one up, we can see the air above this support line. This is really good. It means Solana is showing strength, and that's what we want. Another community favorite is Cartesi. Cartesi is currently trading at 47,285. It has resistance above at 53,419, and the real resistance is 57,236. It has support below at 44,08. What we see here is Cartesi consolidating. It made a huge move up. Remember, big moves require digestion. This is what I call a digestion move. It's really healthy. It's nothing to be concerned of. We know that this alt will follow Bitcoin's fingerprint. As Bitcoin improves, we know what's going to happen. Let's swap across to VeChain, VET. VET is currently trading at 86.92. Now, what we see here, critically important, is that the next level of resistance just above its current price at around 87.82 is structural resistance. This is a bit of a problem because we know that when structural resistance is hit, it tends to back off. The probability is high. 85% probability that it will back off. We can see some power underneath VET. One thing that you can always do, if you wanted to get into VET, you can buy, maybe I'll just explain it this way. When you place a trade, one thing that you want to do is to feel correct in your placing of the trade, and you also want to feel that you've participated. If you've got a certain amount of money, and depending how much money that is and what the fees are for you to place a trade, you can think about placing perhaps 33% at the current price, but not at market, at the buy. Or I have to show you a couple more things about depth charts and what have you, but the concept is you buy a little bit below the current price. You know price moves in waves, it's going to go up and down. Then you can buy another third below it, say halfway to support, another third below that. And if you want, you can split the trade up even into 4 parts. I generally look at price being negatively biased. What does that mean? It means that these kind of things tend to happen, and they are repaired quite quickly. Within a couple of days, these things can repair. But you know the profit of buying down here is just incredible. So always keep that in mind. Don't worry about missing out. You think from a long-term perspective, and you think from a very relaxed perspective, you'll do really, really well. Let's have a look at Avalanche, AVAX. AVAX is currently trading at 11,869. It's above, well, it's basically just broken through the support at 11,702. We have resistance above at 12,513, and the $13 psychological level will be a resistance level, but I think that one is going to be quite light. We can see here that there's a lot of air above this resistance line that we drew in previously. That really goes well for AVAX. AVAX is showing power. We have a particular structural resistance line at 13,476. What the possibility is Bitcoin improving, this AVAX coming up to hit this and to test this structural resistance at 13,467 and then seek to turn it into support. Structural resistance is generally behind a sell wall, so expect price to oscillate around there. Let's have a look at Terra, Luna. Luna is currently trading at 5,818, support below at 5,586, and below that, psychological level of 540 would be fair. It's seeking to attack the immediate resistance at 592. That should be fairly easy to do considering that we're seeing strength in here. The next resistance above that is 6,214. We always buy at support or in between support, and we're never worried about something getting away from us. Just put your orders in and don't care. Don't act on your fear. Don't have the fear in the first place. Have a strategy. It's really the best way to do things. Let's have a look at MATIC. MATIC is currently trading at 17761. It has support below at 112,672. And the $1.10 psychological level would be a good. Psychological levels tend to occur at very round numbers. We have a resistance above for MATIC at 126,610 and above that at 136,913. I think that's around the level that will start to impact that structural resistance. We know that structural resistance acts as a barrier. It's like a roof. When price comes up, it tends to be deflected by structural resistance. That's why it's a really important thing to measure and to be aware of. Part of my personal trading edge that I love to share with you, I look at Binance derivatives and I see what the trading volume is, the open interest, and the percent change in the contract price over the past 24 hours. Double digits are always better. 24-hour trading volume is 64.9 billion. 24-hour open interest is around 6 billion. Let's have a look and see what we can see in terms of really interesting things. We see Ethereum Classic with 24.7 ETC with 24.7%. That's really good. That tends to drive the price up. The more positive, the better. AVAX doing well at nearly 20%. Let's have a look down further. Comp at 24%. All looking pretty good. Elron at 24.9%. Alpha at 23.8%. Yeah, it's looking quite good. Storage, nice to see it coming up, 27.4. Yep, looking fairly healthy. You can always look at this and just see how things track. You'll find over time that you will develop your own edges. ICP, 17%, Unfi, 16%, all looking really good. Now we know price moves in waves, so always keep that in your mind, up and down. I do these videos to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. I hope you found the content useful. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from and if you have any questions. Our community is really helpful and supportive, and I always do my best to reach out and say hi as well. If you would like twice daily updates 7 days a week on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube and follow me on Twitter. Crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.